The most famous Irishman in history was his Irish. He didn't choose Ireland, he was dragged in chains as a teenager. And then after escaping, he went back voluntarily. And here's the part that nobody ever talked about. Not every reason still man never look back. He chose not to. That decision changed the entire religious history of Western Europe. This channel is all about Christian history. This is not only history, but also teach us to know about our father and mother of faith. And this one is one of the widest true story I've ever delved into. Let's go. Late 300 AD, Roman British was still a team. And yes, this kid, we know him as Patrick. His daddy was a Roman official, a tax collector in the actually also a deacon in church. His grandfather was a priest. So religious was literally the family bloodline. But Patrick, he didn't care about any of that. He actually write about himself in this document called the Confession. One of the only things we have in his word, and he called himself idle and callow as a young man. Basically, a normal teenager who has zero interest in God or church, like many of us. And here's the detail that make this story different. Patrick family weren't just religious, they were connected, Roman officials, church leaders. By every measure, this kid had a comfortable life ahead of him. And then one night, Irish pirates raided his village. They took him, he was 16 years old, thrown on a boat, taken across the sea, and sold as slave. Just like that, life over as a new. In this strange life for 6 years, Patrick worked as a herder out in fields, training livestock alone in the cold. No family, no freedom, just him and his thoughts. And this is the part I find it genuinely fascinating because it's in that isolation that he completely transformed. That's why I pray constantly. See, God gave him that time to grow in his faith. Whether you're religious or not, you have to respect that. That guy took the worst thing that could ever happen to him and turned it into a thing that defined him. Then one night, he hears a voice in the dream. It says, "Your ship is ready." He walked nearly 300 miles to the coast. He ran with sleep, alone, no map, no guarantee. He found a ship, took his way on board, sailed away. Now Patrick is home, back in Britain, back with his family. Like most of us who say, I've never gone to near Ireland again, including me. But Patrick had another dream. He described it in the confession. You see a man coming from Ireland carrying letters. He opened one and he read the heading, the voice of the Irish. And then he heard the people of Ireland crying out to him, "We appeal to you, holy servant. Come and walk among us again." He spent years training as a priest, eventually became a bishop. And then he went back to Ireland, not as a prisoner, as a missionary. What happened next is extraordinary. Patrick spent decades in Ireland baptizing thousands of people, ordaining priests, converting chieftains, and the sons of kings. He writes that before him, these people served idol, unclean things, and now their son and daughter were becoming monks unknown. But it wasn't small. Being a foreigner meant he was permanently outside the cultural ties of Irish society. He refused to accept gift from kings, which was massive deal culturally. He was beaten, robbed, put in jail at least once, possibly facing execution. The man lived on the edge constantly. I said goodbye. King Crotos of Art Cloth raided Ireland, killed and enslaved some of Patrick's new converts, his people, the people he had just baptized. Patrick wrote me an open letter, not a polite diplomatic note. Later, especially a public excommunication calling Crotonus soldier fellow citizen of demons. He told his soldier was no different from pagan. He published it. That letter almost certainly got Patrick summoned back to Britain to answer charges from church leader. They accused him of financial impropriety, of gaining personal from his work. Patrick refused to leave Ireland. Instead, he wrote to the confession his defense in his word, which is the reason we all know his story at all today. Patrick eventually died around 461 AD. Was never officially canonized by Roman Ireland, basically declaring a saint through sheer and cultural devotion. And St. Patrick had the Green Rivers, a global celebration, the century later most driven by Irish immigrants in America who needed a way to unload their identity in this new world. But underneath all of that, the green bears, the shamrocks, Yeah, this is the real story. A kidnapped teenage boy look for something in captive, escape and then go back to that place that broke him. Let me tell you, this story teaches us something powerful. That no matter what you are passing through, whether addiction, depression, or any other thing, the thing that God is using that to build you. Although most times it might be clear, but sometimes the reason why God will not deliver you is because God wants you to learn a lesson. That's most of us who are passed through fire, and some of us who are still in that fire trying to come out. And that is the story today. Remember, this channel is not all about history. We also use this history to tell story, to teach a lesson. So if you love this channel, you can please subscribe. And then my name is History Edit. See you in another history.